Flat Earth British, Martin Liedtke speaking. Welcome peeps, welcome back to the great Flat Earth British think tank. And what an epic time we are having. We are an out of control roller coaster ride. Is what we are. And we're having a great time. Okay, today we're going to look into the Weirdorf Astoria Hotel in New York City. You might know it as the Waldorf Astoria Hotel. Okay, stumbled upon some clues concerning this anomalous old world building in New York. So we're going to look into the city that is so good they named it twice. Okay, and clueage and galore in this. We're going to look into some cracking etymology breakdowns. One Love from Ireland has sent over. She's getting like an amazing asset to the great Flat Earth British think tank. Just thank you so much. These brilliant breakdowns cleared things up endlessly in my mind. We're going to talk about curio. We're going to look at some pics, some really Nectar pics. Okay, and 1,000 thoughts besides. I'm just going to basically just bleh my mind. Okay. So it's 11,000 sub day again. So I want to thank you for that, guys. Keep it coming. Okay, let's get some more peeps back. I'm truly grateful. It's great that so many people are watching and enjoying. I'm very grateful for everybody, every single one of you. Okay, but let's just keep this going. Okay, the puzzle pieces are just dropping into place. People are just getting like really out of breath. Myself and Lee, Flat Earth British sub included, as we are just running away with this, you know, just like everybody, the rest of the internet, just needs to catch up. Can't even watch any of it after all of our discoveries here, peeps. You know what's happened in the last couple of years. You know, it's just, you just can't listen to it. It's all drivel. I'm sure a lot of you guys feel exactly the same. I'm talking about all of it. Okay, it just, what we know already has changed everything. Our worldviews, I've changed everything. My mind, everything has changed concerning myself personally. You know, personal growth wise. I'm trying to better myself. You know, show people how I did it so they can better themselves, and hopefully help in that regard. Okay, because that's what we all want, don't we? Yeah, of course. Peace and love. And to be left the fuck alone by the terrorists. Yeah, wouldn't that be nice? So, on with the show. We're going to look into the Weirdorf Hotel, okay, and loads of clueage, and loads more besides. Buckle in. Oh, we're having a fun time, aren't we? Yeah, Lee, Flat Earth British's Vanna vlog was a strange one last night. I really enjoyed that. Anyway, let's talk about that along the way. So this here, what you're looking at here, guys, is a resource, okay, for New York City. It is absolutely stunning. Any red dot you go onto, you click, it gives you the old photographic records all the way through to the present of each location. So I was looking into Battery Park, which is another location I'm interested in. Wall Street here I was interested in, but Fifth Avenue, okay. In this field, this place is full of the most craziest mudflood hotels, large mansions in the late Tartarian era. Okay, but on the corner of 5th and 33rd, okay, there's been a story ongoing for quite some time. And here it is, the Waldorf Astoria, on the corner of 33rd, Freemasonic number, and 5th Avenue. Now we're going to take a look at this building. It is a mind blower to behold, and there's a hell of a story. This is quite a telling picture, actually, guys. There's a lot more going on you might imagine at first glance. Now the narrative is, okay, well, we'll go along, you know, loosely. I don't want to go too deeply in it. I would need a 5-hour vlog. But the story is there's an argument between the Astor dynasty, you know, after, you know, later of which it gets killed on the Titanic. But what you find first architectural for qualities, okay, is this Gothic theme, as in Gotham, yeah, and it's massively top heavy. It's disproportionate. It's literally, the roof is almost the same size as the existing building. Yeah, it exhibits mud flood, and you're going to see more now. Okay, it is kitted out with antiquitech, and you're going to find some, when you look into it, some of the most high tech anyway in the official narrative for any place in the world for a hotel. Now, what I find funny for the Victorian era, not funny, I'm starting to make sense of it now, is the abundance of hotels. Okay, and they all look exactly the same. In my city, any city will tell the same story. So there's a lot of people pouring in from wherever and need hotels. This one is for the elites. Now, it's got some interesting customers that have stayed in this hotel. But anyway, this is the first bit here that got built, apparently. So the story goes, basically it was owned by Astor's dad, who had a mansion apparently on this site, which gets knocked down in 1870. No photographs, no pictures. No photographs, no pictures of this being built. And then from 1880 to 1884, or 1890 to 1894, we'll have to check on that now, excuse me, 4 years, and then he's built this, and then the next adjacent block, this one with the Greco-Romano columns, apparently gets added later. But we haven't got no photographs, I can't find any, but what we have got is a photographic record of it being torn down. Smack on the Great Depression, they tore it down. Some land oligarch, and Al Smith, who wants to put up another megalith, the tallest building in the world, the Empire State Building, smack on its footprint, on the corner of 5th and 33rd. There's more going on with this than you could possibly know. It's to do with this site, and it goes a lot further back. This building, okay, is old, okay, and you'll see this replicated, this architecture, all the way up Fifth Avenue, and we'll look at some of these properties a little bit later. So here it is. Now, it's rather telling what we discovered here, guys. Okay, they got a good journal of it being taken down in 1929, and here it is here, and it shows, wait for it, the existence of tunnels or arches all the way along. You can see them clearly in quite a few shots, and then there's above that tier another tier of what look like shafts. Well, they're not the underground, they're not the sewer system, they look like Greco-Romano arches, and then they're up above again, and this is the street level. Okay, this is the street level, so this is all down below, so it's showing you that there was stuff there before. So this is just an unbelievable resource. Now, 1929, Waldorf Astoria, shortly before demolition, okay, and then he put it in the Empire State Building in his footprint, okay, and you get pictures of it taken down. Now, there's a narrative that goes with it, saying that it was a real shit time to take it down, cost like $500,000. It was so much money just to take it down. When the Great Depressions happened, they can still find, I think it was 200,000 maybe, $250,000, up to that mark, to take this thing down because of its really strong steel inside. Now, this thing's supposed to have been built when there's horse and cart, and what's small, guys, okay, there's no cars, it's all just mud at this period, at this part of New York, okay. Alright, let's get out of there. Let's have a look at another shot underneath it. So that's where the Empire State Building, and there's all stuff underneath. And here. And then they've covered over all of these tunnel entrances. You know, this is supposed to be the late Victorian era when this thing's built. Okay, so there's the Astoria, and then you get this big adjacent part that comes bellowing out, which you'll see on that photograph I showed you. Excuse me. So, this bit is bellowing out. So it's just the most unbelievable structure. We'll have a look into it a little bit more. Now, this is a stunning resource, guys, for mud flooders. Evidence of old world is going to give you below. Now, this will give you the start of the Empire State Building, all the way from what was under the Astoria, probably left all that in, I suppose, entrances to it. That's what I was thinking, see, because it was the place for the elites, okay, and they'll show you who now. And some, you know, important things to humanity out of this building, and it's very closely tied in with the Dakota Hotel and the Amsterdam Hotel as well. Okay, these hotel people are all in it together, snapping up these Tartarian buildings at the same time. Really, really fishy, tied-in story. Bit like Scooby-Doo, but that's always about a guy keeping people off his land with a gun, isn't it? Scooby-Doo. Scooby. So yeah, right away from its disappearance all the way up to its finish. That's highly interesting, but there's this. So there it is, excuse me. Okay. The destruction of the Waldorf Astoria in 1929 gave rise to an even grander New York icon. The original Waldorf, or Weirdorf Astoria Hotel, as I like to call it, the ultimate symbol of the Gilded Age, was demolished in the fall of early winter of 1929 to make way for a new building project. Now, I got photographs of 1929 in this vlog, and everyone, you know, there's not everyone, but there's a load of people living like a Hooverville out near Central Park in boxes because of the Great Depression, apparently. So anyway, so they got enough money to do this. Does not make a loss of the Waldorf Astoria any less regretful. The storied hotel, born from rivalry of two factions of Astor families. Apparently they built the different wings, were arguing and stuff. Just was a delight to New York's upper crust. For the moment the Waldorf Astoria opened in 1893. Okay, not 83, 93, I'm very sorry. The Astoria side opened 4 years later. This bit. Okay. Left some photographs of that, if anyone can find them, for that period. Photographs have been around for 50 years plus, should have some. The hotel was an extraordinary piece of architecture, a gracious, if elitist, okay, which I think is important in this narrative a little bit, piece of New York history. Scientific breakthroughs. Oh shit ski. Oh, let's have a look a minute. So there it goes deep. Okay, we got electric trams, no cars. And the tops of other windows, and there's a door completely below street level. Wow. So this is the old world they hid from us, guys. This building was from there. We got them in our cities, your city, and this is how you identify them. This monster looking, slightly baroque gothic feel, Tartarian feel, if you like. And it gives you the, you know, the logistics inside. It is a mind blast. Greco-Romano tops here. This is the old world. Look at the door down there. What's, you know, common sense. Why? But she's beautiful. Let's have another look at her. Okay. Holy fuck. So, while you have a little gander of how beautiful our roof is, because it is quite mind-blowing, I got this on my Facebook. Okay, from a lady, Norwegian. If you are watching, I didn't want to mention your name because I, you know, troubled before when I shouted somebody who didn't want to be mentioned to 10,000 potential viewers. So let me know and I'll give you a shout. But thanks very much for this translation. Anyway, it's from a grandfather in 1939. She translated a letter of her father's journey to New York and what he'd seen when he got there. At this period, in 1893, the very year, okay, that this opens, okay, this is what this lady's grandfather said. Before we arrived in New York, we drove along the Hudson River, through the most beautiful scenery you could ever imagine, and in a town of 1 million people, the largest hotels at the time. So that would be one, opened that year. He wrote this down in 1939. On Fifth Avenue was Horseman. Okay, both hotels ranged in height against the New York highest buildings, although they were only 5 stories high. That one's a lot higher. New York stretched out no further than Central Park, And there were no skyscrapers more than 70 stories high, no cars, no rushing crowds of people. It was all quiet and completely safe on the streets of New York. We stayed in the town for a week. We walked along the riverside and the harbour. Sounds like a sleepy village. One time we went to the Statue of Liberty. From the head of the statue, we've seen a splendid view. Okay, thank you for that. He writes no mention of the terrible floods and great destruction in New York that happened a year later, just by chance. But so what he's painting a picture of there is that it's littered in high skyscrapers. They're higher than any of the buildings, these, okay, at that period of 1893, when this apparently opened. And no skyscrapers, no cars, no rushing crowds, no people. It was really quiet, a bit like that. So what we're going to look at and pose a question in this, guys, is the narrative for Ellis Island and the insane amount of people for this year, 1.5 million people that arrive in the city from Europe. And we're going to have a think about that, okay, as well, later on in this vlog. The plaques are always blank. Are they plaques or are they something to do with mirrors? Because this building feels evil. I just got that feeling. I have. So, excuse me. Nikola Tesla. Okay, so scientific breakthroughs have happened in here, and Nikola Tesla stays where the elites live. Okay, so he's not like this, you know, impoverished scientist. He's living in like the best, okay, and he had like these revolutionary telegraph offices too. I don't see any telegraph wires coming off it at all, or any telegraph poles. Brand new trees though. Okay, that's the Shroppy image we have just looked at, but Fashions of New York had passed the Waldorf Astoria by the 1920s, and the land was sold by a collective of businessmen. Lived by the former New York Governor Al Smith, or he was a governor, who wished to build the biggest building in the world. So there's a menu, so they have like farquhar and all fucking bullshit foods, okay. It ends up being auctioned, and it went live on the first like radio broadcast of the auction of it, and statues in there. They sold every item off, 2 statues, okay, got $225 each, okay, 2 statues that were in there. The inside is like you would not imagine. It's just out of this world. And it's a haunt for the elites. Yeah, there was nothing wrong with the building, okay, but the demolition of the Waldorf Astoria would take a couple of months owing to difficulties of dismantling the especially sturdy metals holding up the hotel. Well, they did all that on horse and carriage. Well, that's stone, glass, steel. What? The process began in October the 1st with a somber ceremony on the rooftop, okay, with Smith and some of his untop-hatted business associated. But this is what it is, guys. They did it with the whole of New York with this land grab of Hell's Kitchen, E-L. There's an L in New York, isn't there? That's got to be something to do with L, okay, E-L, which we're going to talk about in the etymology breakdown a bit later on in this. So there you are, you got the Great Depression going on, but check the inside. Now Heidekins, who lives in New York City, she takes me photographs, and she went inside a famous store, or Harvey Nichols for me, and took a photograph of the columns. It was all rotted and looking shit, even though this place is supposed to be like, you know, really famous, but they had exactly the same original Greco-Romano columns. This is the old world. And here's another telling image again, guys. Check that out. You'll see it again in a minute. I'll bring it up. Of when they've torn it down, and there's all of this underneath. Yeah? Tunnels. And other levels above. So 2 layers. Very, very telling. Okay, so the wrecking bill was 200... Is that 200 million? Okay. Now I got a problem here. I don't know if this photograph here, right? They talk about, you know, this building was, you know, built to withstand fires, flooding and explosions. It was like a super hotel for whatever reason, when everyone's on horse and cart, and it's supposed to be the late Victorian era, blah blah blah. They're taking it down, okay? I don't recognise this. Is it the other end? These like church big windows? Because they're not this end, are they? I'm not sure if we're looking at the other end. I'm a bit confused about that shot, almost as if there's two. Really, really weird. So there's a newspaper cutting concerning its demolition. And the other buildings that were going up at the time, you know, the Woolworths building and the Singer building, the other biggest buildings at the time in the world. So there's Fifth Avenue, 1899, on the corner of 33rd Street. That's an important site to these because of their Freemasonic number. And you get the pillars as well, the two pillars as you go through, Masonic entrance, even four angels. But Jacquin and Bois, the Masonic pillars on the corner of 33rd, with a really spooky, satanic hotel with loads of shit going down. And Tesla, who was living in there because he's an elitist, okay, he done some letters with some steel magnate who's his buddy from this hotel. He has a little bitch about things as well. He's like, I want steel. So you get his correspondence going, okay, and he's got a real interest in architecture, no less. We're talking about Nikola Tesla, okay? There's many clues here about Roosevelt, etc., the Woolworths, the Chrysler buildings. So he talks about the bridge, the Verrazano Narrows Bridge, okay, soon to be opened, and the site for the soon to be constructed Tesla Tower, okay, and it's the Bethlehem Steel Company, okay. But I guess there's something really interesting further down, which I findeth and get to it. So there you are, his correspondence. He wants to, stuff to build this, okay. So basically he has this photographs existing of his giant Tesla tower, the Warrenclyffe Tower, okay. But then he goes on to say in this letter, okay, in 1915, September 29th, he talks about, in 95, okay, the laboratory was destroyed. Yeah. Where I can find it. But he managed to save it. Oh, there you are. Hang on. Is it the next letter? Could well be. There you are. So there you are. He says in later that it was made. I think it says it was made working again. Oh, there you are. The laboratory was on fire in 95, so that's 1895, and there was an interruption to laboratories. However, they resumed in 96. So it was. They tried to maybe take it out, and then it got back going again. Okay. And I'll give you this link. You can read all these letters by Tesla, apparently, because it's signed by him apparently, and it's printed out on a typewriter because he's got the only one in existence. So it must be real. And this is the guy Benjamin Meissner who he was piling up with for stuff, which they do, don't they, oligarchs, especially when they're out of that gaff. But he is a member of the Tavistock. So I was looking at other places in New York. You can just click anywhere on this map. It's so fucking fantastic. So 68th Street and 5th Avenue I was looking at, and these places are just mind-blowing. Check this. Exactly the same, everything buried, old world, all of them, all the way along. And there's a lot here with just grass growing. Check this out. Yeah? A Led Zeppelin cover, but that could be in Cardiff, London, or any British city. That could. Yeah, my auntie used to have one exactly the same in Splot in Cardiff. They were the only large block, but they were from the older world. They say they were Victorian, but you can't get photographs or or any real direct evidence of these things being built back then. And they put the front window with a big fuck off wall, and there's lorries going past. They used to shake the house. It was horrible. Made no sense. So all along Fifth Avenue you get these monsters, all disproportionate, all top heavy, and it looks like the top's only showing and the rest's underground to thine eyes. Okay, so you can go right the way along Fifth Avenue, guys. It's a monster long street. Okay, but that guy said in that letter, 1893, there was nothing up past Central Park. Okay, so was he correct? Apparently not. Excuse me. So no, that's quite up and built. So yes, it's giving you the picture of a sleepy village. And this is another place I was looking at, Battery Park. Now the place has taken some changes since that huge star fort. You can see some existence of the star fort in some. I would love to sit on a park bench and you start getting flat Earth British over there, as me thinks. Is what I think. Maybe you just don't want me. Is that what it is? You just don't want flat Earth British in America? Is that what it is? It makes no sense. You love me. You love me anyway. You love me over there. Anyway, 95, and it's got this park, but there was a star fort existing on there. And this is Battery Park Place. Check the Greco-Romano Temple. 1895 question mark. What's that? Bowling South Green. So that was a bowling green eventually. So all custom houses look exactly the same anywhere. Phoenician. New Amsterdam. Funny, the fucking thing had no canals though, and he named it twice. It's New Amsterdam. And then he changes it to New York, but there's, you know, the architecture's similar, but not really. And you haven't got no really, it's not determined by canals, although you got really, really long straight avenues. And I was wondering if they were like submerged or canals at some stage, some of them. So let's have a look back up Fifth Avenue, shall we? We're not glitching. So maybe where, if I could find the Dakota Hotel where John Lennon was living when he got killed. Would have been good if I could have pulled that up straight away, guys. And they filmed Rosemary's Baby. Okay, that, you know, the satanic film about, you know, the devil. Well, that's the same location. Some woman got basically, all of them witches basically. They were all witches in there. And they rather unkind to, I don't, you know, the actress woman is fucking evil. Mia Farah. Like, just not even going to go into her anyway. Fucking. Anyway, so check it out. So look at that one. Oh, this don't glitch me up. Look at all these. Oh, this is such a treat. But I could go on for hours, but I'm sure you can appreciate. But we need to move on, guys, because I've got so much time. But yeah, old New York. You can get any photograph, mostly any street, and it will all show you these crazy, crazy deep mud flooders. So that's just the top of the building. The rest is below ground level down here. I just showed you in that photograph the Astoria, how deep they go. So if you want to check out some like cool images, there's a book I can give you. I'll link you up, and it gives you like, they're supposed to be photographs, but this gets me. You know, you got these you know, these giant buildings, and they're all in like Victorian clothes. This building really intrigues me, this domed one. It got burnt down, there was a fire as well, but this is on like Newspaper Row. Oh, what's the name of it? It says it there. Oh yeah, the Pulitzer building, and I looked into that as well, being built and everything, just couldn't find anything. Home of the New York World. And Union Square, obviously. So yeah, it gives you all like the buildings. But you can get photographs of all these now anyway. St. Patrick's Church, another mud flooder. Cleopatra's Needle, shared out. London had one too. It's crazy railway stations. It's not only New York, it's, you know, Syracuse and, you know, Rochester and all these other New York state cities, which are incredible for architecture. It's mind-blowing. So I thought this was weird though. This is a link for basically the 6 oldest buildings in Manhattan. Okay, and they look nothing like any of the ones we've just been looked at. This is St. Paul's Chapel, and this is on Broadway, and it's just a really old stone, old church, or whatever it was back in the past. Technosmia device, but all pure Phoenician, as it would be, because it's Christianity. 54 Pearl Street. My mother lived in Pearl Street. He got bombed in the war. Also Hugh Humphreys, or the one that does Mastermind, or he's on the news, does the news. He was born in Pearl Street. Anyway, now that one spells mud flood, and she's from 1719. Okay, managed to survive, and they put that adjacent piece of shit next to it, and it's crazy, isn't it? The oldest building in New York. Oh, and wow, a mansion with a window down below ground level because it's a mud flood, and a door in the air. This one is Edward Mahoney House in the Bowery, and she's a red bricker. She's not spoiling too much mud flood, but she is, because the door looks like it's half gone, and bricked up windows, etc. Strange one, huh? What we got here? Water Street, a wooden building. So that survived all of the fire of New York of 1700s. Sadly, it's closed. Damaged. Hurricane Sandy. Yeah, right. Look at that building. Angel Ozensa Centre in Norfolk Street. Standing since 1849. That's inside. Oh, that's beautiful. So, they're supposed to be the oldest buildings in Manhattan. Here's some lovely shots of life in Manhattan at this time of 1890s. What you find is, consider, this one's 1924, excuse me, is everyone's stinking dirty. So this is in the last throes of the Great Depression. He needs to wash his face, but he's got boot polish. He's a boot polisher. So this is when they put up the Empire State Building. 3 years on, and this is how everyone's living. Where is everything that was here? There's all these great big megalithic type stones. So nothing there except huts. Isn't that a weird thing? What else we got? Mutilated from World War One. And the Intransit trains, they've gone down a little bit. On 1910. What's that one? 1943 in Harlem. All mud flooders in Harlem. We camped. Look, those down there. All of them. It's crazy, Harlem. All of these places in New York that they say are built in this period, they're just crazy old. This one as well. This is bullshit narrative. When you go on to Ellis Island, it's the same thing. Dome 4 Angels building, all Tartarian, all red brick. Absolutely beautiful, right? And then you go into his timeline, and then something becomes apparent. Okay, so it's the story of 1812 war breaks out. It was used as a fortification for protection, blah blah blah. But I want to get up to the influx of people. 1900 max. So it started 500,000 immigrants were processed at a barge office in 1891. So dig this. So 2 years before that building opens, when all of New York has 1 million people, they processed them off into a barge office. Okay, there's nothing going on, but then they had big extensions, etc. Federal Immunization Station has opened on Ellis Island, the first immigrant processing. 15-year-old girl from Ireland, Annie Moore. 700 immigrants processed the first day. 500,000 or 450,000 in the first year, and it just goes up exponentially. I mean, insanely so. That in 1907, over 1 million immigrants passed through Ellis Centre. Let's have a look at the photographs to support that, because all the Ellis Island photographs I see are always, of not fuckloads of people pouring in and being, processed in such a manner. Immigration station. And this is it. So it looks like exactly the same thing as we've seen with these insane asylums and everything, all uniformic, rolled up, but 5,000 a day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 20 a box. 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 200, 300, 400 maybe in that building. 6,000 a day. It seems a lot of people to be processed, and look at them like cattle. And where are they arriving from? Europe, all of them. 1820 to 1957, and look at it, guys. It's a Tartarian thing. Beautiful. So it needs more investigation, obviously. This is a photograph that has always intrigued me. Arrivals at Ellis Island. They look Irish. They got none of my belongings. I've showed it before. That's when I seen this building behind was mud flood affected. But you know, you're not coming in droves, are they? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, half a dozen people. Same there, dozen or so people. Yeah, that's not thousands. Just not droves, is it? You know, the way that they're painting it's like the biggest migration of people in history. All children, Jewish children, more children, and there it is. Ellis Island for kids. What's that? Ellis Island from New York. Oh, they got a lot of them pens with people in. I guess they could have processed a lot. But what a weird setup for, you know, it's like, well, I know Britain got immigration centres, but to build this fucking island that's got like all these buildings, apparently, you know, already there, obviously, we know that. But I'm just saying, to bring huge amounts of people in, process them in such a manner, and then let them flood out into this unbelievably big metropolis. It's just, what? It's just crazy stuff. And a little few more there. And the new world is in fact the old world. They were shipping them out, the Arcadians, that's from one period, out of America, back to Europe. I think that's been ongoing as well. Everything is a reverse. So where are they from? Migrants. I'm guessing he's Irish boy. Have a look at these. And they look more Asian, more Tartarian actually. Don't they? It's interesting. More arrivals. Oh, they look a bit Russian too. Angel Island. So you got EL. Oh fuck. EL is. EL is island. EL electric. EL is island, and Angel as well. Angel Island. Zap. So enough of that. We're moving on. Other stuff. I'm going to be looking at some images now for a minute because I have a few put away, and these are basically shroppy images, and they are beautiful, of New York, and then we'll go on to the next articles. So we've looked at that, but really nice, and they pull it all down for a skyscraper. That's power. Let's have a closer look at them. Let me know what you think. They're not sewers, and they are not the underground. They are old world arches, and above as well. Really deep. You know, 50 foot, I mean, deep. Wow. Okay, let's move on. And there's the interior. Now, she's full on Phoenician. Check the globe. Something Tesla was really interested in this build, and they say it was built on a Four Angels style, so it was harnessing his own energy. It probably had free energy. There's a lot of secrets with this place, and it's a lot older. There's no evidence that this first mansion was in its footprint, and if it was, what was it doing there when all of this is, you know, arriving late 1890s, and the whole of this sort of Gilded Era is kicking off in the fucking 1850s? It just makes no sense. These things are standing for such a little amount of time, guys, you know. And look at it. What? It's just insane. All in that red brick as well. There it is. That's not the same as well with them arches. We looked on that demolition, and it's not the other side. It's not like two separate buildings. That is interesting. But look at this entrance here. Almost as if the floodwater came to this level, you could go in there. That level, in there. Phoenician mindset. Technasmia. But they had giant organs in there somewhere. And there it is looking down at Astoria. There's a few empty slots there, and this is that basically that, so we won't clear up, the original Pilsner building apparently burning down. Okay, let's spin this around. Well, I can I? Should be able to. Yeah, there you go. Let's have a look at that. So that's Fort Wood underneath, so it's a beautiful star fort which is in situ. John Levy was looking at this the other day, and this thing is fucking massive, and it's just based on these, you know, these temples on top of one another. It's all like connected with the unbuilt temple. It's just crazy stuff. So yeah, really interesting, these vlog last night. He was talking about aspects of you guys. Now James, who is basically Gandalf, James Brockhurst, he's been talked about everywhere. I heard him talked about on Brian Staveley's show last night, and they called him Gandalf. But they love his breakdowns and what's coming up and the way this is piecing together. And you know, you have different people thinking separately. We all think separately, you know. We all perceive consciousness differently. It's no point seeing it any other way, you know. If we agree to disagree on subjects, that's fine, guys, you know. I don't claim to know anything really, and just piecing together, and I trust what we've discovered. End of. I don't trust stuff out there, and I don't watch other stuff out there as well, really, because I don't want to be influenced in any way. Why should it be when all of that? This is so original and Nectarian. Check that. Fireworks. So yeah, this guy said it was beautiful, like a village, not many people around. Pretty much saying the same. All these millions flooding in. And this is Newspaper Row. I got that cut-in image in colour. This building really gets me, this Pilsner building. Okay, and these are from Shroppy. The really good images to study on Shroppy close up. Check these out. You got these steel poles, and then it comes to this wooden crappy thing. But this building's interesting. Tartar ports, giant chimney, and a Greco-Romano thing at the end. He knows someone's taking a picture. That kid is well psychic. Taking a last look back. Still, things don't fit. Something's definitely off with these. We're even looking at this place. What's outside this place anyway? That's what we all want to think about. What's outside the dome? What's up there? See, when I was a kid, you know, when they used to show like Jason and the Argonauts, and you had like the Olympians looking in that pool, yeah, and like, you know, interacting with humanity, you know, just helping out or not, as the case may be. I used to fucking really resonate with that. I was thinking, yeah, that's what's going on. Yeah, that's the eye. They're all. That's why you watched. And there's these thought thumbs as well, and everything else flying around in you with this. It's fucking crazy shit. But recognizing it is 9/10 of the battle. Is the beauty of it. Check this out. Same thing going on. Monster. And it's disproportionate and massively top heavy, but that's same raw iron, same technasmia, same four angels, same feel. That was a survivor. Also this, all-wheel survivor, mud flooded, door up in the air. Sometime in the past, they switched off history, is my guess. That missing 100 years or so they talk about, and then they make these good. Put the staircases in the air, make the windows into doorways when these cities are empty, and you know, when the water's gone, and they put it all back together. Electric. But these are turn of the century, you know, 1900. Car's not here yet. It's only horse and cart. So yeah, they had horse and cart, and ship came in with a load of stone, okay, from Hardwick, delivered it off, and it's all granite. And he got it off on a little pit pony, and then they built all of that. And the steel came the same way, because, you know, they ain't got lorries and shit. So look at that little Greco-Roman. Oh, there is a van there. It must be a bit later, maybe. But look at that temple. Phew, I bet that's Masonic. So yeah, that's Singer building, or Sun Life building, and fully illuminated. Really beautiful. Even the Technasmia ports are lit up. They put light bulbs in them. Is that what it was all like back in the past? And there's another one. Look at it. It's like that. It's like it's just half of it's missing because it's down underneath. These were windows at some stage. It just goes up in tiers. Again and again and again. Wow. And the same features. Very unusual, that one, but beautiful. And look at it in proportion to this thing down here. Wow, that's a big chunk of masonry. So, we'll have a little etymology decode, shall we? I've got some here. Well, we'll look at these pictures. Examine these pictures more closely. If you see any cluage and I miss, guys, you know, the usual thing, tell me in comments. I do catch up. Look, why put all of the decoration and the Phoenician plaques that are blank up in the air where you're never ever going to see them? People ain't going to see them walking along, ever. They might see them from the tops of other high buildings, but they always do it. And this is one of the earliest pictures of Wall Street available, and they got some steam train running through. Oh no, this is not Wall Street, this is called Death Alley, or Death Avenue, 11th Avenue. Yeah, this is Death Avenue. Apparently there was more people killed on this street than any other street in New York, and they got run over by trains, horse and carriages, and just, you know, general insanity and not being able to keep the chaos together, apparently. But I have got the oldest picture of Wall Street coming up. Durham. Never Durham. Durham. So yeah, breakdowns. So, Masonic, according to the Freemason, who's Manu P. Hall, whose works are very interesting, by the way, no doubt about it. He says Masonic, M-A, Sonic, as in Masonic. No shit. What about revolt, as in revolt, or revolt, zap. Not bad, eh? What other ones we got? Now, one of is etymology. So she was thinking about the name Emmanuel. So that's E-M-A-N-U-E-L. So you're looking at basically E-M again, okay, and ember. So it's or R-E-M and ember. So dream embers, or E-M-R-E-Light. So they say it could be remember could be R-E-M ember. Now, the word phenomenon. The word phenomenon is phenom, omen. Omen meaning E-M on. That's a big part of the entire narrative. Quite important, the on-off factor. Pheno meaning seeming, and omenon meaning event. So phenomenon is a seeming event of a EM on. So phenomenon. Really interesting. Our church is covered in ivy. I'm not sure what I just said, but there you go, it doesn't matter. It's me. There again, Medford. Beautiful photographs in this shroppy. So HD and crisp. But yeah, not many people around for the size of the buildings. You think it was tens of thousands in these buildings this time of day. As with all New York, you need your door on the second story because it's prone to floods and you want to be safe. No, it's Vogue. It was in Vogue. So more Fifth Avenue. That was a girls' school on Fifth Avenue for the elite brats, I suspect. And I think that is the Singer building, which is one of the biggest on the Woolworths. Singer and Woolworths building, two of the biggest for a while, and then the Chrysler building and Empire State, blah blah blah, you know. And you can actually see this. Is this Times Square? Yeah, it was originally called Long Acre Square. At this period it was Long Acre, and then it got its name changed to Times Square sometime later. But it was Long Acre Square at this period. Yeah, you can see that one being built. That was one of the first skyscrapers they pushed like no tomorrow on their images. Can we trust any of the past? Was a subject brought up last night by Lee. I don't know. It is relevant because we're looking at it now, and because now is always here. Yeah. So what's that? The size of this thing. That old style on all of this up there. It's just craziness. So another thing Lee was thinking about was our year at all. Wise Up. Good old Wise Up was talking about what they say concerning nothing actually ever touching anything else. You know, I'll use the analogy of a basketball bouncing on a basketball court. They say that it doesn't actually connect with the floor of the court because it's the atomic bondings repelling one another, and slapping you here, or the click, is a connective burst from the bondings repelling, and nothing ever actually touches anything else in you. And I mentioned that all is electric universe, and all is resonance and vibration. So in that mindset, are we here at all? Wow, look at that. Fuck no. Let me just mag up on that a minute. This is incredible stuff. Can't mag up, can you, when I say biggin it? Okay, that's fine. Oh, there's Moorish feel. Serpents entwined. Oh no, it's Phoenician, alright. Holy shit skins. Look at this down there. Wow. Right, so one across the road, Greco-Roman temple. So all of that world builds on a horse and cart. I tell you what, I'm not going to take anything from humanity, that shit hot stuff. This is actually not in New York City, this is a central station in Syracuse. Do love trains. I got them in the air here. Okay. So that's a little bit more busy later on, I suspect. They go from 1890s up to about 1909, I think. So here we go, Wall Street. Across the river. Greco-Romano Bank Temple, they all are. JP Morgan's first electrified building in the world, they tell you. Blah, blah, blah. Phoenicians. Oh, Wall Street's badly mud flood affected. Look at that. Wow. Also here, the Liverpool and London branch office. Badly mud flood affected. So what's he selling? Oh, I love them. Warm house chestnuts. And these, we've got one in Cardiff. As soon as it gets a bit warmer, I'm going to take my drone down and fly around it. I have to get in there somehow. It was on a little documentary, this gasometer in Cardiff, and they were saying, oh, the Victorians. The person asked, how come they wanted all of this ornate decoration and everything around everything? You haven't got it on this one. And he said, oh, the Victorians had such class and style. It's like, oh, really? Is that so? I want to go down and take a look at this gasometer. It's all on disused ground. So here's streets in New York, which looks like, you know, not far off what they tell you the medieval era is. It's called the Dark Ages because it's not fucking there. And they've stopped the calendar. Even what I've showed you with the, you know, the Gregorian, Juliana switch, the Common Era, further switches, the leap year, the 2 added months, the fuck with your body clock, so all of us are in imbalance and we never truly come back to us, you know, the way we're supposed to be. They keep everyone off and in balance, you see, with the fucking with the sky clock. But we're alright. Here we go again with this pills in the building. So you get these temples above one another. You get this big temple on the top, almost as if the flood waters came up to you. They could still walk in and occupy the dome. Crazy building. But the one before it apparently burned down. Can't get photographs. And there are the people in the market. So no shortage of people there, but it looks a bit stage setty to me. I don't know why. Like, everybody say cheese. Cheese. Not that many people, possibly. Oh, he's up there looking though. And him. So he shouted to everyone then, otherwise he wouldn't have had their attention. This is Wall Street. Okay. Now this one looks definitely set up. First of all, there's no building by here, so he's up on what? Does it turn round? Is there a building on the corner? No, it comes up this way and that way, doesn't it? So what is he on? Is he on a wooden thing? He's quite high up. How to determine? I don't trust this shot. And it's supposed to be the day of the Wall Street fucking crash. There's no one diving out windows here, but everyone is panicking. Well, not really. They are crowding. Someone's diving out of any windows, though. Stop it, film. Rolls. So I got quite a bit to talk about. I got to hurry through because basically it's going to be a long video otherwise. But these are beautiful images, you have to admit. They got it going on. Looking from the Singer building, which was one of the biggest in the world, and that's some ships in the port. Oh, nice. Right to these. So yeah, funny that guy said there was no skyscrapers in 1893, only big hotels. Seeing, no, look at this, New York, sightseeing. I wonder what's running that, guys. These are electric motors, aren't they? Yeah. Batteries. Wow. What? I thought they had a telephone connection on board, like on-board Wi-Fi. The technology of the ports. Imagine when I'm trying to envision how this place was. There's a new program I was watching yesterday called Jonathan Strange and Mr. Morel, and it was in the year. It's set in London and in an alternative reality or alternative history in 1812. I thought, I'm fucking watching that. I thought about bringing magic in and mirrors, and basically I was thinking about, I wonder about that picture safeguarding the mirrors, safeguarding our future. I thought, oh shit, I hope they didn't do some black magic. We're all trapped in the mirror reality. We don't know anything about it, and the real reality is on the other side of the mirror. Basically, they're using mirrors to go between this other realm or this other reality is right close by, highly complex place, through mirrors. Okay, but this magic is apparently lost. So look at this. The flat earth scares you because you fear the truth. So that's them images. Let's move on. Curio. Now, I'm not going to go into all of the narrative because basically my mouth, I got verbal diarrhea. I tell you what, the internet is brilliant for someone like me. Just talk. Historians admit to inventing ancient Greeks. Now, Greeks is a colloquial term for anyone in that part of the world. Did you get to the end of it? It's just Phoenicians, guys. Okay? Just to show you that the ancient Greeks made up, and they admit it. Okay? They admit it. Same as the Romans. Psyop. Now, Lee's home from work early. Lee Flat Earth British sub. Rudy has got his perspective from the nest. Okay, don't know what that's about, but I will be checking that out as soon as thing. So Rudy Malia skate and Lee Flat Earth British sub communicating real time. So Noah's flood. Now the flood we talked about in my last post, the Felix flood, and the flood took out the noble city of Rome in the year of 1530. Some people say was that the second Noah's flood that they talk about, or the Noah's flood? And I'm like, I'm not really sure, because if you go back a little bit further to this, they say it's the biggest flood of the millennia, and it's the Magellan's flood of 1342. So the Magelladalian, God, hopeless pronunciation, flood of 1342 was a devastating flood disaster that struck numerous rivers in Central Europe. Okay, so its designation goes back, usual named for the days in the saint's calendar, so Magdalena Day or whatever. Anyway, so all of the rivers of Europe reached the Elbe, the Oder, and it was called the worst flood of the last millennia. So they saying it's worse than the St. Felix event. Okay, so I'm not going to pick up any more on that. Somebody else want to grab the baton and do some research on that, because I've got time. We're moving on. Oh, I hate that. So, in a post a couple of days ago, I was talking about electric swords, and I showed you this picture of two men in a late medieval event, or 18th century event, sword fencing with electric swords, and it looked like they had sort of chainmail protection on. So they use this in the real world, chainmail, when you go up and fuck around with electricity so you don't get zapped. So you've got Faraday suits, and they use a knight's armour, okay, as an example of how to survive a lightning strike. Should we take a little look? Oh, there's no volume with this. Okay. Ooh. What about the night? How's he going to do? The night wins. Zap! He's got chainmail on. No, it comes from the ground. It comes from bones. The bones of all the dead giants and stuff. All the reset victims, billions before us, trillions even. They're there. Now, I fell in love with this. I was like, this is a curio section. We always get this on Flat Earth British, if you haven't seen it. Oh yeah, while we're here, please make sure to share this out, Auntie, if you would. Peeps, thank you. I gotta take a break. Yeah, we are having a rocking time. This is just smashing it. This year is just going to be so excited. I'm going to talk a little bit about this upcoming convention, the first International Tartarian Convention, which is rather exciting, and loads of people are interested. I got some details concerning that. People might be going, etc. And loads more besides. Anyway, we're moving on. Now this is some of Guy Jones' films. Now I'm obsessed with time travel. I had this little fantasy in my head as a teenager. No. Concerning a bricked up wall that was in the side of a house near Thompson's Park in Cardiff, and I had this thing in my head that if I passed through that door I would come out and I would be in the late 1800s in the late Victorian era, Tartarian era. That lasted quite some time, but I've always been really obsessed or very interested in time travel. Okay, like really interested. So the past is not there, obviously, it's just figments. We have elements controlled, given to us. We pick up little nuggets along the way. We use discernment and we see what we come up with. So this is the Carolinas, and it was made in 1915, this film, but it's supposed to reflect the American Civil War period of the 1860s. Okay, so it's in the Confederate South. Slaves apparently, about to be abolished, etc. But they paint a really different picture, and what they show you for the Carolinas is the place is absolutely beautiful. They have such a beautiful culture, and that's why they fought so hard. So what you find in this Carolina street is it's muddy, and look at these, and this, all of it, and watch their lifestyle. It's so pretty, everything's so fucking lovely. The way they're dressed, everything. I know it's 1915, but still. Whoop! Watch this. Watch the way he picks him up. Good. Just grab him, so horse don't go over him anyway. Check him out, top hatter, having a fag, cigar. Good day to you, good people. 'Tis wonderful, or whatever you speak in Carolina. Come in, sir, come in. Thank you, Charles. We'll use the next lot. Oh, my good fellow. It's so good to see you. Hello, Will, hello. Oh, but they don't talk like that. He's playing Bickaboo with a kid. Ah, they look like they're having a really happy life. And they don't look bad. She looks like she's, oh no, she is 1911, like 20s. The lady with the pale complexion. We'll have a look at her now. So, more top hatters turning up. Okay. So it gets rather exciting further down, because basically the cavalry are coming through. So the Confederates have actually a black regiment in 1860, according to this narrative, but they did. So they were having to fight for themselves, they've been invaded by another country. What are you going to do? So a bit of courting or whatever they called it back in them days. Sort of a bit strange. So she's pretty. She's the star of the show. She comes into it a bit later. So here's the Confederates coming on. Okay. Yeah. Whistling Dixie. It's awesome, isn't it? And check that. It's like going with the wind. Frankly, Scarlett, don't give a flying fuck. Go to the kitchen and make a cup of shut the fuck up. Why don't you? Check her out. Wow. Ugh. Right. She's not good at dancing. She's like, ah, fuck that stuff up. Wow, this is so cool. So yeah, I was mesmerised by this, but I am like easily pleased, and I watch a lot of old films. It's Guy Jones Addictive. So this is basically, that is Appomattox. Like I told you about in my other post concerning American Civil War. So you've got Ulysses S. Grant, and he looks fucking just like him, okay? And Grant, yeah? Now the thing is, I'm not going to be on anyone's side that haven't got Daisy Duke on their side. Think about it, guys. Yeah? Yeah, I know. Have the North got Daisy Duke? No, you haven't, have you? No, no. So I don't know what's going on there. They're in the library doing some businessy stuff. Okay. Yeah, watch yourself. I'll link it up. A bit of absolutionism going on here or something. But they all seem pretty pally. I don't know what's going on. And in the army as well. It's not like fitting with the, you know, the narrative sort of thing. Is it? So I thought that was quite telling. I thought it was really interesting, and I think the Carolinas look absolutely beautiful. That's a highly interesting piece of film. So I hope you enjoy that. And here's that thing, right? Now, basically, I've had a thing about mirrors. I won't have them in the room. I got one in the bathroom because, you know, basically got a shave and shit. So, shave and shit. Don't need a mirror for that. But basically, I don't like them. I haven't as a kid either. I had this thing that, like, even as a small child, that it was a pathway to another dimension. Even puddles, reflections, they use in this. And the weird thing is, it's connected with double vortex as well. Because I'm thinking about, you know, with the narrative of Gone with the Wind, The Wizard of Oz. Yeah, she goes through to leaves Kansas to go to this parallel dimension, or this other place, this other world, where the wizard got lost to in an air balloon. Yeah, she gets there in a whirlwind or a twister. And again. Yeah, I think she might have knocked herself unconscious though and tripped the whole lot, but we don't know. There's a lot of clues in that film. But yeah, she gets through to this other place using basically a vortex, and there's the same thing going on in this. It's highly interesting. I quite enjoyed it. So this other world is like really, really trippy, and to get through it, they jump through mirrors. This is this other world. They got this David Bowie dude going on, and Stephen, who's got him like as his eternal spirit slave who just enslaved him. So he's like based on the devil or something. And he just comes here, this dude here, after the women, basically. So, but it is really, really good. There's the world that he basically stepped through the window or the mirror into. Looks like that. Tartaria, like the pictures we see. Ooh, strange. Is that what we're looking at? Anyway, just checking it out there. Right, some images. So here we go. Oh, this is connected with that other crazy hotel, the Weirdorf Astoria, and it is the Dakota, who's lived there. Tesla stayed there as well. When they filmed Rosemary's Baby in there to do with Satan and everything else. And John Lennon had to live in there. But there's loads of like weird things going on with this. They got some tech. Another place that had like things no one else had, you know, like technologically wise. So I noticed there's fuck all around it except mud, and it's deep, like, and there's nothing across the road, just a picket fence for such a beautiful structure. Really crazy. And this is one of the oldest images you can find of New York, it says online. And all you can see is like big slabs and mud, glorious mud. And this is supposed to be Wall Street, so it's all mud. Everyone's like pissing around in the mud, yet they build these great massive obelisks. So there's a colour photo of this guy who's an elitist. Yeah, this Serbian elitist. How do he make his money? Because Serbs, you know, it's like, I don't know, must just come over with oogles and money, or just got lucky. I don't know. He was clever though, or so they say. Very sketchy, the information on Tesla, and it's all online. We didn't know much about it without the internet. So that's basically the Great Depression. Here's another shot. So I'm not sure which street. I think that's Broadway. Still not many people around. Such big structures. Oh no, that's the earliest picture of Broadway. Okay, check it out. Excuse me. Fuck a duck. No, don't do that. Right. What are these? Everything's horse-drawn. Everything's in wood. Everything's very chaotic on the street itself. The buildings are absolutely beautiful. Everything comes in later is log. For duck boats, temporary bridges, etc. So, let's dive out of there. Okay, we're moving on. I got some images to show you at the end. We're going to talk a little bit now about like sort of domestic stuff, and that is bookage. I've had great basically feedback about this book, the mind-blowing Flat Earth British book. You can order it today, concerning all of this information, and links as well on here as well from shows I've been on. Brian Stavey, who I mentioned earlier, Ranty, Flat Earth, Mudflood, talked to with Roxanne, Globalist and I, and my friend Robin Campbell. And I'm Campbell. I got a great grandmother who was Catherine Campbell. She was Scottish. I'm a Scottish, Estonian, Welsh, I don't know, whatever, fucking fakwa. So yeah, you can order my book through there and my website, which I'll be showing you now. Now, Tartaria, a lot of interest, people connected, you know, basically emailing me, definitely want to be going here, and I'm not surprised because it's a good fucking cheap jolly. Now, so far, I've said who's going to be coming. Basically, well, allegedly Dave, who's basically Dave Murphy, as you know, who's going to be doing his convention. That's Max. Max is said he'd love to come, but he's Max. So that's ongoing, and we got other people, big names we've asked as well, which basically we're waiting for. But there are going to be some unbelievable presentations, including yours truly, but the place is out of this world. So it's the first. I like the look of it. It is absolutely beautiful, you can't deny it. Okay, so this is the score. You have to be in Verona's nearest airport, or Bologna or Milan, by the 28th of March this year. And the event is on the 29th, Sunday the 29th of March, at this beautiful location. Can you see yourself there? Well, this is the score. Okay. So there's flyers being made and promos as we speak this week. They will be out on my next post probably. Okay, the rooms are out of this world, and this place is going to be opening the very week of the convention. Okay, so the price of the convention, right, let me read this properly, so I've been asked to ask you. So 10 people are priced. The convention is €50, including full Italian French lunch in an extra restaurant, no changing room, no pizza. Vegetarians must advise ahead of time. And it is a 4-star hotel, as you can see. It's very, very nice. So basically the hotel opens the 28th of March. No point going before because it won't be open. Price for audience is €84, single room per night, including international breakfast, free Wi-Fi. For a double room is €52 per person, per each person, so it's like €100, which is like 70 odd quid for a double one of them, double room, and like 50 odd quid for a single, and that's including your breakfast and everything else. So flyers to be distributed soon. Keep a look, and we'll see how it goes. This is going to be a fucking jolly. I'm going, so it's going to be super fantastic. Make it so. Yeah, I'm quite fun. As if people who meet me quite, know this. So the rooms are absolutely stonking, and I can see myself outside there where you are, having a natter. Okay, and a bit of grub. I like food. Food's pretty cool. Yeah, the only bad thing about food is you have to go through the 8 hours or whatever, 6 hours sleep between meals. So inconvenient. Yeah. There it is. There's a sure that's convention room, maybe, but it's a big complex, and it's near to a town with incredible staff, and it's an hour or so away from Venice, which I'm hoping to go to and take some photographs, go live, etc., and share that experience. I will share all this with you all the way along the line anyway, guys. Okay, it's going to be happening. It's going to be a jolly. It's still early days, as I said. It's only the second announcement. Oh, look at that. Oh, I can see myself under there. Can you see yourself under there, guys? Yeah, it's Tartarian as fuck. That's homecoming. Keep an eye out, guys, and I'll give you more information, okay, as it comes. Okay, I'll keep you posted, and I'll give you the email address for Mr. Santini and also Albino, the people who are running this thing. So that's gonna be fucking epic so far. Okay. No, Flat Earth British is our website, Mind-Blowing Mud Flood. If you don't know anything about this topic, guys, we're about 2-3 years into it now. It's been going a long time. There's been a billion words said and so much information. This thing has just basically just gone light years. Think tank wise, I can't even see. This is the best think tank on earth in my mind. Like MIT can't fucking touch us, is what I think, because they're all based on bullshit. See, control bullshit. Told her, spin a narrative. So there you are. I got a shop where I sell FEB products. I got the think tank. If you don't know about this, somebody sent me an email this morning, Shamir, of a strange image, Victorian, of a projected head and all of that. You find them on there. All of them strange shots. So what if is a big question. What if? Okay, what if on all of it? You can order the book here, digital and paperback, on this site as well. Okay, and you can support my channel because I need supporting. I'm on PayPal, on Patreon as well. You can help me. Beauty books, Pinterest. I'm on basically everything. Instagram, and basically it's all sorted out. I share on all of that, and I'm on Twitter as well, which is quite busy. But my Facebook is epic. So Mudflood, Tartar, Firmament, Comets, Vache, Starfort, Shapes, Antiquitech, Technosmia, Airships, Maps, Giants, World's Fair, Sciences, Words, Art, Architecture, Resets, Fireplaces, Aquatech. Okay, Weather, Activities, News and Resources. And there's my son, who is Welsh Dragon Metals, who's an alchemist. You may have heard him mentioned. And done a competition this week, which Mary Billings, well, Lee won, but Mary Billings did really. Okay, because Lee got to work, but he's home now. Okay, so yeah, it's hard to do a practice. Not really. This, you know, not getting involved, or you know, I just let people have their little freakouts and think it's not my fucking journey anyway. And I always think the same thing as well. Whatever, time will tell. You know, if I got my journey, I'm not bothered. I really am. I'm not. I just think, you know, as long as you keep doing the right thing, trying, you know, to do it right, you know, everything else just work out. So I don't know what we're looking on here. Sub Curiosity is put on here. Lawrence Thorogood. Oh, that's nice. Oh, I love this one. Lynn McKinley. One of my favourite shots, this one. So yeah, you can go on there, and there's a wealth of information on there. Oh, shit skis. And beautiful pictures galore forever. Okay, you can go down here. I'm going to go back months, and it gets really good. So Alexandra Jasbeck, Zabek, thank you. Greta, hi Greta Schmidt. Thank you. Yeah, thank you everyone who comments as well. And it's really weird how people come in and talk about, you know, like sort of like, I don't even give a flying fuck about flat Earth globe debate. You know, you know, in my mind it's obviously flat, testable and observable. I just fucking think, oh my god, that's just the drop of the ocean. What we know now, that's like just, there's so much more. Okay guys, that is just a tiny bit of what is basically coming out. So I don't entrench either myself. I never entrench. Just take a look at some images of, and I always think to go forward, okay, with information, with knowledge. I chop and change. I, you know, go whichever way spirit takes me. Okay. These are beautiful New York colour images. So yeah, and a place I'd love to see. Check it out though. This is on Madison Avenue, and it's just like in Rome. It's got a faceless night setup. Oh, the Phoenicians, the Venetian world. Check that out. They'd bring them over from Ellis Island, I guess. Yeah, over there. And then further processing, maybe, guys. I don't know. So that's battery pack, is it? Looks that way. Yeah. I think that's City Town Hall, isn't it? And there's that staff hall again. Oh, there. Yeah, she's a monster, isn't she? That plinth. But I don't trust the images of it being built at all. Like UAP don't either. There's just something going on. They seem too controlled. All of it do. There's no backgrounds in any of these photos. I don't even know if we're looking at the right place. You know, what time, what place. I really don't. Could be just another reality. Just the way my mind's been working lately. Something James said. So in fact, it's all of you guys, you know, have just put me off on a, same as Lee, on another mode of thinking, which I think is vital. This is in at the lake in Central Park. Beautiful. Could be in the middle of the country, yeah, in the middle of New York City. And that's washing day. A Monday washing day. Yeah, you don't really. There's a bylaw in Britain. Apparently, it's illegal to. I think it's. Oh no, it's unlucky to wash on a Sunday. I'm not really sure. But whack your carpets. You know, your carpets, your rugs. You know, you whack the dust out of them. Yeah, there's a bylaw in Britain. You can't do that on a Sunday, or somebody or nobody will ever arrest you. But there's a load of Victorian parent bylaws that still exist that have never been lifted. But they don't, like, obviously police them. Police nothing. They just fucking subcontract out fucking gangsters, isn't it? Serve and fucking protect. Fucking hell. Stand and deliver. So that was always a fucking stupid thing. People doing stupid things for photos. Never into that. So Jewish quarter. What we got here? Skirts. Stuff. And somebody digging up the road. Look at that down there though. Door down there. Think about that, of why the architect would do that. Nice electric light. So these bridges as well are anomalous. I was looking into the Brooklyn Bridge. Obviously you can see it being built on photographs, and obviously and the East Bridge as well, and Washington Bridge, stuff like that. But look at all this mud flooded. Concerning the Brooklyn Bridge, the story of all of these men dying built in the bastions, the great, you know, towers that hold the suspension bridge. They say they had caissons disease because they dug into the mud and they had, like, basically the bends, hypoxia, etc., and died loads of them, etc. In the narrative, okay, in the late 1800s, you just keep reading these insane narratives, but I can't find satisfactory photographs of that bit of the tower of the Brooklyn Bridge. It always seems to be there. So everyone's laying the pavements. It's like a big concerted effort to get the pavements done in New York. So yeah, I've enjoyed these pictures today. A little trip to New York, time traveling again, guys. We enjoy that, don't we? Time traveling. So nice. And sleeping in a barrel. Roll out the barrel. And check this out. Oh, that's nice, isn't it? I love that beaten up look. I'd leave it like that. I wouldn't even paint it. Don't take the piss off my car. The engine's a beast. Not that I drive, anyway. I tell you what I do. I drive everyone up the wall. Which, I mean, that's not true. Look. Fucked up beautiful church. So, wow. So the Great Depression. The line for the restaurant will fee 20. I think you want to go somewhere else, boys. Wow. So they're going to eat. What about their wives? You know, do they take you home in a doggy bag? What's she saying? What you say, Stanley? Oh, she's in his face. He's not in the mood, is he? She's having a moan. Some things do not fucking change. Union Station's insane as well, isn't it? The way that's the scale, same as Penn Station. And these bridges. Anomalous. Not satisfactory. So some grand swimming do. Ooh, Phoenician. And Astor Hotel. New York. The Weirdorf. Okay. So that's the Claremont River Drive, New York. New York's also got a castle in Central Park. That's a clearinghouse. Check that out. Got the dome with windows. Obviously just a picture. So there you are. I don't know what's taking the photograph. Somebody flying over. Yeah, I just don't trust that fucking thing at all. Christ the Redeemer being built. You can see that. Look at that then, the Hippodrome, New York City. Low all these are. Something going on with theatres as well. Oh, look at this Antiquitech. Theatres all over the world, and hippodromes, and lyceums as well. I think they were something else. And not just for watching theatre, although the Phoenicians are into theatre, the whole world's a stage. And this is apparently where they built it, in a shed. So I don't know how high the roof is here. The Statue of Liberty. 1884. It's not convincing. They shipped it over. Gustav Eiffel will give it as a gift to America. There's another one in France, the Liberty, or Apollo, or Babylon, or whatever it is. And yeah, this one seems to be being built in sections, maybe. It seems like the wrong scale. It's supposed to be in a staircase in here going up. So, yeah. Strange, that one. So that's the Berlin Wall going up. It's totally unconnected, but look at these. Just watching. There's the Auntie Mabel down the end of the street. Or Eva. Just cut off. And does that look real? Or does it look cartoon? No, be honest. Yeah, looks like it's cartoon. There's no sky, and it looks like it's just put there. And it's just official. To show you that they did this and took it out there. Guys, that's bullshit. That never fucking happened. So there's another Lyceum Theatre. Noth and the Flame. The fucking hell is that? Is that a spoonerism? I used to do a lot of spoonerisms, like fingerless fluffs, or Willer's meat, or, you know, there's loads of them, isn't there? After the Reverend Spooner, apparently he's done sermons and buggered them all up and got it all ass backwards. We all do it. I do it all the time. I never realised till after, till I'm watching it back with you and I'm like, cringeworthy. So look at the buildings next to it. So when they're taking that down and all that steel inside, they had to not damage these adjacent buildings, I suspect. Whoa. Look at that. It's an ancient city. It's been there forever. Seen that one. So, and yeah, that's real. UFO. Not saying they're not real. I've seen stuff, guys, up there. But I'm saying it's not from outer space, because it's not outer space up there. It's water. And there's more outside. And it's not very big, this. There's only like, you know, 3/4 water and more some of the time, they tell us. So it's mostly water. There's only little bits of land. And that's in there. Bullshit. Narrative. So, it's all down below. And that is the cover of Physical Graffiti. Somebody took me the photograph. So it's took some changes, hasn't it? Ooh, what's that? King Kong up there. No, it's not that one. But they do in the film, and they shoot him and you get really unhappy and cry. Yeah. Bird's eye view of the PRR depot, New York, which is a fucking temple. That's gone. What that was originally. And that was the Bank of England. I know it's not connected, but it is. And what you find in the Bank of England is only this bit exists, and it was like this giant temple, like all underground, like what I just showed you for the Astoria, the Weirdorf Astoria, and inside is Greco-Roman. It was Rome. Basically, inside the old Bank of England, the existence of ancient Rome streets. and it's in the building. This got burnt down in the 1800s. You see doors, you know, these arches, columns. This is all Rome. All Roman columns here. And it was inside the Bank of England. There's only a bit of it left, this bit on the corner here. You can drive around here today. But underneath that, below ground level, it's all deeper vaulting. The rest was destroyed. I can see why. Oh, more beautiful pictures. So you can see this Flatiron being built. Astor Theatre. I guess everywhere. Oh, that's Astor, not Astoria. Yeah, that's it. Astoria is Astor. Look at the arch here. Who, he must have been a big fella walking down here. And there, poof. So, yeah, different sizes to giants. Yeah, I think something's going on with consciousness. I think the days were shorter because the course of the sun and the moon was short. We had short days, and as a respect, if we live 400 years, it's because of that notion. I think you have to make it, you know, our plane, make it smaller, fluxes, it's prone to EM pulses, as it would as the nature of on and off, and that it could happen. Bring in what's that domed Pilsner building? World Building Park Row. So they're pretty shit hot. What else we got to show you? Let's take a last look at them under there again. So it's the same as the Bank of England. No wonder they wanted it on the 33rd and 5th. Wow, so deep as well. So interesting. Bloody good little score that was. But I got loads of more images to show you, but I guess I gotta come back. That was probably 2 hours. Sorry to talk so long. So, got a competition. I will sort out the end of the month when you can win watches, okay? And I will send them to you after at the end of the month. To do that will be epic. Okay, so look forward to that on my next Friday. And if it's late Friday, please don't get upset. I had loads of emails saying, "How very fucking dare you? What am I supposed to do now on a Saturday night, Matt? Fucking cheek." It's like, I tried. I'm not always up to it. Yeah, I try my best. I do. So that's me, Flat Earth British, on a Wednesday the 29th. What I'm going to start doing, I'm going to introduce this day in history in my vlogs. So I'm going to look at the official narrative. I was going to do it now. I got it written down, but I'm like, just there. Where we can look at what happened that day when I'm posting in history and see if we can, you know, if there's any crossovers or any similarities or syncs, because it seems to history repeats itself. Always. It's in a cycle. So if you need me, mindblowing7gmail.com. Remember? Okay. You can order that today on them links and the convention as well, and all the information is going to be coming soon. So I'm glad you come along to spend some time with me. Please make sure to share this out, like if you did, okay? And there is so much epicness. I'm going to have to, okay, to the next sort of, because, okay, I just got to process shit in my head. Crazy lately. About a month. Well, I wait there. Into 2020 vision. Anyway, peace and love to you all. Okay, be good. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Okay, martinliga7gmail.com if you need me. I will put all the links, emails, address, everything you need, all in the descriptions box, which is below this video. Okay, so you don't get lost. Okay, that's me. Peace and love.